Hello and welcome to Cracking a Cryptic. Now today's video could take a while because this looks a very tough puzzle. But first, a little bit of news. We've signed up to the website Patreon where people can become patrons of Cracking the Cryptic and just pay a little bit of money a month, as little as £2 if they like, to enjoy the output. And we've promised, I think Simon's planning that if we get as many as 15 patrons, we will record another video from an Okuyama puzzle, which are really good classic Sudokus by a specialist Japanese puzzle maker. They have very elegant solutions normally. And at some point we might start putting videos on Patreon just for the subscribers. So you're welcome to visit Patreon, Patreon, look for Cracking the Cryptic, and we're on there. So, now, as I say, this could take a while. This killer was requested of us by Alasdair Darroch, one of our viewers, and thanks for that. I think this is a really hard puzzle, so let's have a go and work out how it gets started. Now, as usual, with a killer, remembering the rule of 45, all the numbers from 1 to 9 add up to 45, so every row, column, and 3x3 box will do that. This line down here is interesting. This line that separates column 5 from column 6, because the one place it doesn't separate it is here. So if we add up all the boxes to the right of this vertical line, including this 16 box, we'll find that they come to something just over 180. I'm just going to add the units, digits 968171825. So they come to 185. And that means, what am I going to be doing? Sorry, I'm also going to warn you that I'm not very familiar with Duncan's Sudoku solver software, so here we go. 5 in the central cell. Now I think that's the only right-in number to begin with, unfortunately. So after that, we're going to have to start kind of sketching in some of the really clear possibilities. That 3 box has to be 1 and 2, obviously. This 14 box is either made up of 8, 6 or 9, 5, but from the 5 in the centre we know that the 9, 5 must be that way around if that's possible. There's not a lot of other stuff to really get going on. I suppose this 29 box, that has to be 5, 7, 8, 9. 4 digits making up 29, but I'm not sure that's going to help us for a while. What we have to start doing is recognizing the relation of some of these cages, that's the kind of individual barred off areas, with the boxes, the 3x3 nonette boxes. So up here in this central top box, we've got 2 cages that add up to 31 and 2 other cells. Now those cells, therefore, by the rule of 45, must add up to 14. So they must be either 9, 5, which would have to be in that disposition because of the central 5, or 6, 8. So there are limited possibilities there. This 12 box also has to be one of 2 possibilities. It can either be 1, 2, 4, 5 or 1, 2, 3, 6. They're the only 2 ways you can make up 12 in 4 numbers. So this 19 box now, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, must have a 7 in it, because there's nowhere else for a 7 in the box. And if it was 1, 2, 3, 6, that would be 5, 9. This would be 7, 4, 8. Oops. And if it was 1, 2, 4, 5, that would be 6, 8. This would be 7, 3, 9. So we don't know whether this cage contains 7, 3, 9 or 7, 4, 8, but it's one of those 2 possibilities. Now down here in the symmetrically opposite box, we have two cages, they add up to 34. These other two cells must add up to 11. Now that's not so limited as 14, but what can we deduce? Well, we can deduce that in column 6 we've got a cage of 19 and a cage of 14, that's 33. The middle three must add up to 12, and that could be slightly limited at some point. 9, 1, 2, 8, 3, 1, 6, 4, 2. Can't use a 5. Those are the only three possibilities. And here's something interesting. Look at this 16 cage. It begins with either 6, 8, or 9 in the top one. Now, if that was a 9, the other two would have to add up to 7. We've already got 1 and 2 in this row, so they'd be 3 and 4. I'm just going to fill those in for now. 3 and 4 they'd be. If this was an 8, they'd have to add up to 8 as well. 1 and 2 are gone. The only possibility without 1 and 2 is 3 and 5. And 5's already gone in this box, so actually 8's not even possible. If that was 6, these would have to add up to 10. Can't be 1, 9, can't be 2, 8, and can't be 6, 4, because the 6 would be gone. So it must be 3, 7. So in fact, these cells definitely contain a 3 and either a 4 or a 7. So that 8, 3, 1 possibility for 12 in those 3 cells here is no longer a possibility. So that can't be an 8. So this must either be 9, 2, 1 or 6, 4, 2. If it's 9, 2, 1, the 9 would be here, and these two would be the 2 and 1 in some order. 6, 4, 2 would have to be in that order going up. So we have limited those a bit. Now, if that was 6, 4, 2, this 19 cage would be 7, 9, 3, and this could therefore be 1, 5, 8. That's one of the two possibilities. If, on the other hand, this was 9, 2, 1, that would rule out the 9 from here, so this would have to be, what is it? 7, 4, 8. 9, 2, 1, 7, 4, 8, this would be 5, 3, 6. So there must be a 5 in this cage, together with either 3, 6 or 1, 8. So I'm not quite sure where we go next. But as I say, the relationship between the 45s in boxes and what the cages add up to is quite important. So here in this box, we ruled out 8 there, we can rule out 6 there, sorry. Here in this bottom right box, we can see that the two cages that mostly occupy it add up to 40. That's 5 less than 45. So this cell, which isn't in them, must be 5 more than this cell, which is. So this cell must be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this cell with a relationship to it that's 5 more must be 6, 7, 8, or 9. Not sure that's helping us. This 16 cage, we know it's 5 with one of these, 1, 2, or 4. With a 4, it would take 7 to make it up to 16. With a 2, it would take a 9. Can't be a 1, because it would need a 10 there. So in fact, if this was 9, 2, 1, we know the order it would be. It would be 1, 2, 9. And if it was 2, 4, 6, it would be 2, 4, 6. So let's pursue the possibility of this 3 being 6, 4, 2. Because if that was 6, 4, 2, that turns these two into 7, 3. That makes this one a 6 to make up the 16 cage. We know that that plus that equals 14, so this cell up here becomes the 8. Now, in the central area here, we've got 6, 4, 2, 7, 3, and 5. These would have to be made up of 8, 1, 9. And the 17 cage couldn't contain 9, 8. That would be 17 already, and there's another cell to fill. Couldn't be 8, 1, because that would need an 8 there, and that would be 2 8s in the 17 cage. So that would have to be 9 1, and this would have to be the 8. But that can't be an 8, because that's an 8 under this hypothesis. So in fact, the 9 2 1 possibility here must be right, because the 6 4 2 is not possible. And that is a huge step forward. So we'll get rid of the 6 4 2. We'll start writing in some big numbers, because 9 2 1 is how this is resolved. And that's going to allow us to fill in some other things, like 2 here, 9 here, 5 here. So this has been a bit of a start there, at least. What else? We can get rid of lots of the small numbers now. We can get rid of the we can get rid of the 9 3 up here. That cage must be 8 7 4. So that 8's not possible with that 6. This pair must actually be 9 and 5. 4 7 8. This must be 3 5 6. So we can get rid of the 1s and 8s. And if that's 3 5 6, and we know that this pair adds up to 11, they must be either 2 9 or 4 7. Not quite sure which pairing that involves, but that is going to be useful. Sorry, we need to put the 6 back as a... Oh no, we've reduced that to the 9. Okay, so if that's the 9, this must be 3 and 4. We can get rid of the 7 there. These 3 must be 6, 7, 8 in some order. Now that's quite interesting. That's going to reduce the possibilities down here. These must add up to 13, 14 or 15. So this could be 2 or 4, but not 7 or 9. Given that it's 2 or 4 here, which leaves 7 or 9 there, these must either be 6 and 7 or 8 and 7, which leaves this one either being the 8 or the 6. It can't be the 7 anymore. And what's interesting slightly here, so we can fill in the big numbers 5 and 9 there. They're certain, and that's useful. 5, 3, 6, 1, 2, 7. Right, so that 9 has taken away the 9s there. That's good. 1, 2, 4, 3. These must be 1, 2, 5. No, what are we on? 1, 2, 3, 6 in some order. 2, 1, 3, 6. 3, 2, 1, 6. 3, 2, 1, 6. So at least we know some of the things. Now, if we were to add up the cages that fill the first 3 columns and jut out there, there, and there, we would find that they add up to 53, 67, 98, 118, 155. So these 3 jutting out cells that exceed the 135, that's 3 lots of 45, must add up to 25 and either 6 and 9 or 8 and 7. So we're still working on 2 possible fills here, but we're narrowing down the possibilities a bit. Now, in this box up here, we've got 2 cages that add up to 47. That means that this cell that's included in those cages must be 2 more than this cell that's not. Now, where is a 2 going to go in the box? It can't go in the 27, because a 2 in that would leave 25, which is too many for 3 different numbers. If the 2 was in the 20, it couldn't be in these 3 because of this 2, or in this one, it would have to be here. And if it was here, This cell would be 2 more than the 2 for the reason I just explained. Those 2 cages add to 47. So this would be a 4, but that's impossible because one of these 2 in the same row is a 4. So 2 is not there, it's not there, and it's not there. It must be here. So we can put a definite 2 in here. Quite a complicated piece of reasoning. Do feel free to kind of go back over that and see why I was coming up with that conclusion. Now, with a 2 there, we can do some rulings out of a 2 there. That rules out a 7 there. There must be a 2 down in this 13 cage, but that's not all that surprising. It does mean the cage can't be 1, 3, 4, 5. So in fact this cage is now either 1, 2, 3, 7 or, I'm just going to put 2 in those 2 cells, or 1, 2, 4, 6. Those are the 2 possibilities. If it was 1, 2, 4, 6, this would have to be a 5. And if it was 1, 2, 3, 7, this would have to be a 5. This is the only place where a 5 can be. Can't be there because we know that's 6, 8 or 9. Turns out neither of the 2 possibilities for this cage can include a 5, and it can't be in those 3. So this cell here has to be a 5. There we go. So that's, again, it's just kind of little gains at the moment, but they may add up to something. Now, if we add this 20 cage and this 27 cage, 47, and these 3 numbers, then that makes 49, 58, 63. That is more than the 45 of column 7 by 18. Now, of that 18, we've got 5 and a 2, that's 7. These other 2 cells must add up to 11. So that 1's not possible, and this must be either an 8 to go with the 3 or a 7 to go with the 4. That hopefully will be useful at some point, I'm not entirely sure how yet. Okay, let's have a look at this. If this was 5 and 4, these 3 cells would make 18. Now I think that could be either 8, 7, 3 or 8, 6, 4. Couldn't be 8, 7, 4 because that would be a 4. So that could be 8, 7, 3, 5, then 1, 2, 4, 6 down here, that would be 9. Oh, in fact, we worked out, didn't we, that this cell was 5 more than that cell. So it now must be either 9 or 8. The 6 is no longer possible there. And up here, we worked out that this cell was 2 less than this cell. So it must be 5 or 6 there. Now, what next? Okay, so up in this box, we've got 27. Now that has a limited range of possibilities. Could be 9873. That's certainly possible. It could be 9864. Now, if that was the case, this would be a 5 because it couldn't be the 6. These cells would be 173. They add to 11 plus the 2 is 13. That would need to be a 7, but that would be in the same box as 173. So that's not possible. So this can't be 9864. Can it be 9765, the other possibility? No, because either the 5 or 6 has to be in there, so they can't both be in this cage. So now it must be 9873 up here. And that gives us some clue. It doesn't actually fully resolve what these 3 are, because they could be either 145 or 146. And I bet those fit perfectly well with the 7 or 8. 145 would be 10, that would go with the 8. 146 would go with the 7. So that is true. However, we've got a 3 in this cage up here. We know that the 3 in this box must be in either column 8 or 9 as well, because it's not clearly in column 7. So the only place for a 3 in column 7 must be in one of these 3 cells, and if there's a 3 in one of them, there can't be 1 there. So that is fixing this as a 4. That makes this one a 7 because they add up to 11. We worked that out earlier. This one is 5 more, so that's a 9 than that 4. This one is 2 less than that 7, so it's the 5. 9, 7, 3. So now we can put in lots of the little numbers again. This is either 1, 4, or 6 in some order, definitely in this cage. And that makes a good 20 with the 2, 7. These ones must be 3, 8, and 7. Sorry, I'm so slow with the software, but it's nice to be getting some idea of what's in the cages. 3, 7, 8, 5, 9. So these must be 2, 4. We can see the 2 and the 4 in column 8 already, and these must be 1, 6 in some order. So that is quite useful. These can't be 7s. 1, 6, 5, 4, 2, 7, 9. This is either 3 or 8 in this column. These can't be 9s. And this is either 6 or 8, given the 1 and 3 in the same row. Again, quite useful progress, but not complete, because can't tell everything about those. This we know can't be 7. These 2 can't be 5, so they must be 7, 8 in some combination. So the other cells in the 7, 8, 5, 9 can't be 7, 8. Now, in this top left box here, it's not the same sort of relation as here, but if we add the 2 cages that are mostly in it, they make 53, 24 and 29. Now 53 is 8 more than 45, therefore this plus this must be 8 more than this, which is the other cell. So that must be, if this was a 5, 5 plus 5 minus 8, that would be a 2. That's not possible because of this 2. So this must be a 9. And 5 and 9 is 14, minus 8, that makes this one a 6. This one's a 5 because it can't be a 9 anymore. 8, 7, 6, 9, 5. So this must be the 4 because it can't be 8 or 7 now. This must be the 1, and this must be the 3. That's fixed this 4 and 3 down here. That's good. Still can't get those 2 resolved. That's annoying. Right, but what else have we learned from this? Okay, we'll go back to the small numbers. This must be 5 or 8. This could be 6 or 8, given the numbers in the same row and column. Now, there's not many possibilities here. If that was an 8, this would have to be 1, 2, 3, and the 2 would have to be down here. 1 and 3 would have to be there. If this was a 6, this group would have to be 1, 3, 4. They have to add up to 8 more, and it can't contain a 5 because there's a 5 there and a 5 there. So they might be 1, 3, 4. So we'll just add those possibilities in. This one can't be the 4. Could be 1 or 3. So 2. Oh no, 2 could be there. Well, we've limited that box a bit. Now we've got that this cell here is either 6 or 8. This is either 6 or 8. This one can no longer be an 8 and must be a 5. This cell, look, it's either 6 or 8, but we've got 6 already in the same cage, so this is now 8. We remember that this cell plus this cell plus this cell added up to 20, so this one is the 7. That makes this one the 4. These ones are 7 and 6, and we now know the order because of this 7 down here. It's 6 and 7. 9, 3, 5, 7. That's not this 31 cage, 6, 5, 8, they make 19. We've got another 12 to put in, so that's mostly small numbers. Could be 9, 2, 1, but I don't think we could fit all those in. The 1 would have to be, there has to be a 1 in this cage. 1, 2, 9 wouldn't work because this cell couldn't have anything. So to make 12, we don't need the 9, we need 7, 2, 3 is possible. I think maybe I shouldn't be focusing on that at the moment. Now this cage is either 6, 1, 3, 4 or 8, 1, 3, 2. So it uses the 1 and the 3. So this box here has to either be 2 or 8. And now hopefully we can apply the same sort of logic we did with the shapes up here, down here. These two cages add up to 57. So the 2 that are sticking out of them must be 12 more than the 1 sticking into them. So they must be 7 and 8. And this must be a 3. That's resolved. This is a 6. 3, 4, 6, 5, 9, 8. Now, we've either got 1, 2 here, which will give us a 9 here. Or maybe 7, 2 or 7, 1. Maybe that's not the place to look next. Okay, so this 8 resolves the 7 and 8 up here. One of these two must be an 8 down here. Let's have a look at this box now. 6, 5, 3, 8 make 14, 19, 22, so another 9. I think that must be 2, 7. So 2 there, 7 here. That now resolves how this one's made up. It's got no 2 and it's got no 8. So in fact, it must be 6, 1, 3, 4. We can tell the 6 is there. We can't tell anything else about it yet. 6, 7, 5, 2, 3, 8 here. That's not necessarily resolving it. 4, 6, 3. Just trying to find where we can go next. Just going to reduce down some of the possibilities we've had before. Can't be a 6, it must be a 1 or a 2. That could be interesting. 7, 8, 6, 5. 3, 2, 4, 1, 9 to go up here. Yeah, no, surely this box is interesting here. Let's try it again. 8 must have a 7 in one of these two cells because there can't be another 7 in this cage and it can't be here because of that 7. So one of these is a 7 and that means we need the other two cells. They have to be 4 and 1. They can't be 2 and 3 because of that 3. So they have to be 4 and 1 and indeed the 4 because of that 4 has to be here. So now that's the 7 and this is a 1. Now that makes that 1 3. The 4 here goes there. This one has to be a 3 because it can't be an 8 anymore. This one's the 1 and there's a 6 here. That puts an 8 here and a 1 here and a 3 here. And we've got rows 4, 5 and 6 complete. So that's something. We don't have much disambiguation between the rows at the top, but we do have a bit at the bottom. So 4 there and 2 there seems to work. There's the 2 in the central bit. It has to be in this 20 cage because it's not in this one. So it's either there or there. This has to be an 8 because 3, 7, 8 were the only possibilities. 2 there, 1 there, and that's giving us something to use up the top at last. 2, 6, 5, 3, 7, the 9 must be here. These are going to be 1, 8 in some order, but let's try and use this 1. There must be a 1 up here. That's the only space left for it in this box. That has to be 4 now. 8 and 9 are fixed here and here, and I think we're now finally coming to a bit of a conclusion. There must be an 8. Not there, sorry, that's wrong. The 8 must be here. And to make this box add up, must be 2, 9, 1, 8. That fixes 1 there, 6 there. 4, 8, 9, 1, 6, 2, 7 must be here. 3, 3, 5, 5, 2, and 6. Nice, there we go. So now what have we got? We've got that 4 there, that fixes 4 and 6. The 6 fixes 6 and 2. The 2 must be there. Then we've got 9 and 3 left for this box. They must be in that order. That puts 3 here with 7. That resolves 7 and 8, and that resolves 8 and 9. And there we go. What a complicated puzzle that was. Certainly the key learning I think that we have there is, in the first place, to kind of focus very much on the relationships between the cages and the 3x3 boxes, but also to try and rule out some possibilities. That's really what we're learning there. So thanks very much for watching. Do subscribe. Do become patrons on Patreon. We don't try to patronize you, but we hope you patronize us. And thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.